I teach a range of courses that use technology here at UW-Madison. I teach some courses that are entirely non-credit and online that use only email, and we share music notation files, and I teach composition to students that are literally all around the world just using email. I also have a class that is face-to-face that uses some online tools, and I also teach a course that is entirely online where there is no face-to-face meeting whatsoever. The students take everything via Learn at UW. I use a variety of tools in the online class that I teach. I have some podcasts, which are also available on iTunes. I have video podcasts which show notation and show me walking the students through how to put together a melody, where the students see only my hands and they see notation on pieces of paper. And I have e-learning projects that are videos of me teaching lecture material to the students, which they can watch to learn various concepts. And I also have a collaborative learning project that uses a blog and a social networking site. There were two things that motivated me to teach in an online format. One is that my job actually requires me to teach at a distance. Some of my students are literally outside the United States, so it requires distance education. So that was a motivator that sent me into the online realm. But the other motivator was time on task, because my students have things that they need to practice, that they need to spend time learning, that I could take out of the classroom so that I could save in-class time for actually applying what they've learned. One other item that motivated me to teach online is I also teach through extended timetable, and the requirement for teaching extended timetable courses is that the students do not need to be on campus. So that was a reason that I went with the online format as well. I've seen quite a few benefits for students in an online learning environment. One benefit is the time on task element. Many of the things I teach in music require time to practice, especially ear training. Students can go at their own pace and can run examples over and over when they want to learn how to identify particular sounds in music. They are able to do that outside of class and go at their own pace. So students who have played by ear and maybe don't need that much time can just go in and do an example once, while students that have never thought about music in that way before can go and learn and run examples as many times as they need to. So that was one benefit of that, is time on task. The other benefit is students who have trouble with the material, especially the lectures that I've posted online, can go and play those over and over until they've captured all the material. It's one advantage of having lecture online as opposed to in the classroom, is students who are taking notes maybe miss a particular point. If the lecture is online, they can go back and listen to that point over and over until they capture it in their notes and until they feel that they understand it better. There are two other benefits with online learning. One benefit is that it frees up class time for other activities. Because I have some of the lecture material online, when my face-to-face students actually come into the classroom, we can break down into groups and work on applying the concepts that I've covered in the lecture. So it saves me time to actually work with them on the actual materials as opposed to having to spend the time teaching them the materials in class. I have found that face-to-face teaching and online teaching both have benefits. In the classroom, I have face-to-face contact with the students, so if questions come up or if students have problems understanding material, I can go ahead and deal with that for 40 students all at the same time. In an online environment, if students have questions or problems, especially since I don't teach any blended online courses, everything I teach is entirely at a distance, I do have to teach more one-on-one with the students to help correct mistakes, because that isn't something I can do with 40 students at one time in a face-to-face class. However, because I'm having one-on-one contact with the students, students are apt to approach me more than they would in a face-to-face class because they feel more confident in that environment. They feel more confident that they are only talking to me, they aren't asking a question, for example, that would be something in front of everyone else in the class. So the experience has been different, but about the same amount of work. It's just a different way of handling what you have come up with in a regular class. My online teaching has influenced my face-to-face teaching in several ways. One way is that I think about things that I discover that I can use for my online course that I can also pull into my face-to-face curriculum. For example, the collaborative learning project that I do with a blog that I do online is also something I do with my face-to-face students. My face-to-face students really enjoy that experience. They feel very comfortable in a social networking environment, so both classes benefit from that. Likewise, I've also taken things from face-to-face and put them into online. For example, I did discover that some of my distance courses required certain materials to be put on video so the students could actually see me presenting those the way I would present them in a face-to-face class. So I've actually probably gone both directions. I've used face-to-face experiences to enhance my online instruction, and things I have discovered in my online instruction have enhanced my face-to-face. I had to provide a keyboard for my students in the online course so that they could actually try some of these things out that we're learning in the theory class. One of the things I discovered is that the tactile approach of actually feeling chords or feeling intervals under their hands was really beneficial for those online students, and found out that that was actually something I could share with my face-to-face class. So that was a very interesting experience. I had never done that before. Everything I had done involved listening, involved singing, involved hearing me play, but it didn't have the students actually feeling those items under their fingers. And when I added that to my online class, it became so apparent through the discussion board that the students were really understanding the material better when they actually felt it in their fingers, that I've added that now to my face-to-face class as well. I would encourage anyone to try online teaching, and I would also suggest that you don't have to jump in to a fully online course right off the bat. I think a lot of people are intimidated with online instruction. They feel they don't know the tools very well, or they don't know the materials, or that it'll be a lot of work to start out. And I would encourage instructors to try just a sample project to see what happens. Instead of thinking they have to put everything up online right away, they could put a particular lecture online that they feel students might benefit from having a chance to hear that lecture more than once. They could put a project online. They could put something up in a discussion board or use a wiki. Anything that just starts them down the road of technology. And I think once you realize the benefits and you see how well it works with your students, and you find that you can actually free up some of your class time to actually apply what the students learn, which is always really exciting, and it's a fun way to work with the students, that then you'll be more interested in even exploring further aspects of online instruction. I would also encourage instructors to explore items that they can't accomplish in a face-to-face classroom, but they could accomplish through technology. I can't spend a lot of time in my campus class covering ear training, but I can have all my students work on it outside of class, accomplish the same goal, but save my class time for things that need to be done in the classroom. So I'd also encourage instructors to look at what they maybe can't do in the classroom that they might be able to do through a computer.